Welcome to Just Saying, a podcast produced by and recorded at Tri-State Worship Center. Now here are your hosts, Holly Schneider and Pastor Terry Wagner.
Hello.
Yo.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, sing it on key.
How do you find the keys?
Gotcha.
How's it going? It's been a few weeks.
It has been.
Yes.
Or has it?
It has been.
It has been.
Remember, we're letting it go.
Somebody went on vacation.
Where you been?
Some bodies went on vacation. Both of you went on
true.
vacation.
That's true.
That's true.
We
Somebody didn't.
We didn't go together.
No. Did
Well,
you?
we did go to the same place.
We didn't go to the same place, but we didn't go together.
Hey, Holly.
Hi. I'm in the room. Holly
are.
Schneider.
Holly's in the room.
Holly Schneebe. Pastor Terry. The Padre.
Hello.
Big T, and the media magician,
Say it fast.
Double
like
M,
Double M. Ooh,
M&M.
M squared.
I like
Tyler.
I love peanut
M
M&Ms.
squared.
Tyler Staten, everybody.
Peanut M&Ms.
That would be
Get
my
us,
preference.
One of my favorites.
Get us some merch. Sponsor
Yeah.
us, peanut M&Ms.
True.
Please. So, what's new?
I will
What's
gladly eat
new?
them while we're on air.
Yeah. Crunch on them.
Are you hungry?
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm kind of full. Actually.
Anything new?
No, I've been on vacation. I'm just now trying to figure out where the top of my desk is at. I mean, it's just it was piled.
You seem a little intense today.
I am a little intense today. I'm trying to get back in the saddle after traveling for 2,300 miles in 10 days. Well, actually, 1,300 miles in just 2 days. But then the other 1,000 was spread over a 6-day
The whole
period,
week.
something like that.
It's a lot of time in a car.
Well, while we're here, let
While
me just
we're
go ahead and take care of something right now.
Oh, boy.
I do have
He's not a counselor.
I do have teeth.
I'll have tea first.
I have a snaggle tooth. I call it a snaggle tooth. It's like sticks out right here. And if the lighting hits it in a weird way, it looks like I don't have this tooth.
Cast a shadow over the
one.
next one.
And my little brother, I will leave him unnamed, messaged me after he watched our first episode and said, "Hey, you need to change that camera angle."
What are little brothers for?
Yeah.
You know?
I said, "Well, listen, why don't you watch episode 2 because I put the mic in front of my mouth."
You said, I'm already insecure.
He said, listen, just watch episode 2.
Yeah. I wished I'd have thought of that because I would have said that.
You guys can blame me for that because I put him over there and put the lights on the other side. So it's really my fault.
Well,
Poor guy.
normally it's my better side. But anyway, now that we got that taken care of, hey,
Anything new with you, Tyler?
Nope. VBS is coming up.
Oh, it is.
or
Shit.
will have been probably.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
By the time
this airs.
hits.
Yes.
True story.
Yeah, that's there.
It's big.
It's
So-
a lot.
Those of you that are watching or listening, VBS was last week.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yes.
So the energy we have right now, we won't have probably for the next episode.
This episode.
Yeah.
Hey,
I say
Tyler.
that really. Holly is the one doing all the work. But
Oh, Lordy.
her and her minions.
Yeah. Funny story before we get into it. I found it funny. So Isaiah and I are, let's see, when was this? I don't even remember. Everything's a blur right now. We were on our way somewhere. It's in the front seat, and I said, I'm going to let you pick the music today. So I figured he would pick, Forrest Frank, Skillet, something like that. And all of a sudden I hear Triple H's theme music.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
hear it's time to play the game. And then I start laughing. He starts laughing. And then out of all the instruments that he could have aired, right? Guitar, drums, he goes,
The triangle, yes.
I said, are you playing a triangle right now? Like this heavy rock song. He's like,
Or it could have been cowbell.
Could have been
I
cowbell.
guess.
No, it was a triangle.
Was he wearing a belly shirt?
No. I was like, what are you doing? And he just starts laughing. I was just like, well, I tried. Like, that's just the oddest thing. Like, out of all the things. It was great.
That's hilarious.
I have two grandsons in the band already playing like normal instruments. And
Wait.
now he's going
All of
to
you
come
that
up.
play the triangle out there.
Pop, I made the band. What are
Yeah.
you playing? The triangle.
I'd be out there marching with his football uniform on. All right.
I don't think they allow that now.
They don't?
Not down here.
Really?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it.
I've seen it once. One time.
Was he playing a triangle?
No. I think he played the trumpet. For real.
Was he playing?
Huh?
Was he playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like playing football?
No, I see some kids like marching.
Oh.
They're not really playing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They're just a body. Yeah. Wow. That
was pretty
So
good.
good.
So, on to the subject.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're here
Why
for
are we here?
something. I forgot.
So we are here. We talk about real world issues
Nailed it.
through the lens of the Bible. Right?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Thank you. And this season, we're talking about navigating difficult things as a Christian. We have talked about unforgiveness. We've talked about depression. We've talked about grief. We've talked about lost children. We've talked about dealing with people who don't believe the same way
We've
you
pretty
do.
much solved all the problems of the world.
Yes, if they would just listen
That's it.
to the podcast. Today, we are going to talk about, which this is really good because yesterday in Journey, we actually kind of discussed this because we're going through the Declaration of Faith and we were talking about healing. And so it's, the subject is when God says no. And we kind of discussed when God chooses to not heal here or heal the way that we think that he heals. So it's kind of along the same lines. But yes, so when God
So
says no.
in other words, Tyler and I don't have to say anything.
No.
You've got it all.
No. Sorry, don't yell at me.
Whatever.
So the first question is, why is it so difficult to accept no from God, especially when we're praying for what we think is something good?
Well, I think you got to lay a little bit of groundwork before you can start to answer any of these questions, and that is first we
We're
have to.
not counselors.
No, I actually took it out of my notes because this is not.
This is just straight up.
Yeah, this is just this is a spiritual issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do think we have to establish though, or agree that humanity, in general, does not like the answer no about anything.
True.
Right? I mean, so there's this predisposition, if I could call it that we don't like it about anyone, from anyone, about anything. Don't tell me no. I mean, we have some disrespectful, disobedient children because they've never been told no. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about that. Should we just give our children everything that they ask for? And if the answer to that question is no, then why do we think God should be that way? So I know we'll get there eventually, and pardon my voice. I must have been cheering on my wife as she was going in and out of thrift stores. While
I
we were
bet
on
it's probably
vacation.
just the change of atmosphere. Or it could be the smoke coming from Canada.
Canada.
Ooh.
Canada.
So angry.
So anyway, now that you've said it, I think I do feel like wildfire smoke
Probably.
in my lungs. My good friend Eric Rutherford in Indiana, he's a respiratory therapist. He can probably help me with it.
Oh,
Eric,
okay.
if you're watching, by the time you respond to me, it'll be over.
First time caller, long time listener.
He's on line one. Bring him in. I don't want to seem, again, we're in all of this, I don't want to seem like we're diminishing or diluting anybody's circumstance or situation. You're praying about something, healing, praying about something in your family, in your marriage, in your job, whatever. We're not trying to dilute that at all. But if you're going to go to Florida, you can't be driving towards Canada. So
Because there's smoke up there.
yeah, right. That is in my notes, the smoke. So we can't really embrace the subject without recognizing that there are some preconceived ideas, right? That everything is. Are you okay?
Yes. I just heard a really
There
loud
arose
noise.
such a clatter.
A loud noise, and I heard screaming. So
I did-
I'm just going to send a short text message
I didn't
to
hear
make
nothing.
sure everything's
so,
okay.
Of course, I wear hearing aids. I think humanity's predisposition is towards getting everything we want when we want it, and if that does not happen, our go-to is this is bad. If I don't get what I want when I want it, something's wrong. And again, it goes back to that splinter in my brain about who gets to decide what's right and what's wrong, who gets to decide what's good and what's bad.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be us. So all of that said, to begin to answer your question, Holly, why it's so difficult to accept the no, especially when we're praying for something good, let me refer to sitting on the couch last night with my grandson watching the animated show King of Kings.
Okay.
All right. David, as a young man, is there, and there's a couple of different instances when his mom does what he refers to and what his dad, Jesse, refers to as stress weaving. Stress weaving. Okay. Now, that sounds crazy, and might be, but she proceeds to describe what she's doing and uses her stress weaving. And here's what she says. The threads on the underside of the tapestry look messy, pulled tight, even painful to the threads themselves. But from the other side, the finished picture is a beautiful tapestry and makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Okay? I think that needs to be the starting point for this whole episode, is we do not see the whole picture. We cannot see the whole picture. His ways, God's ways, are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. What we seem to determine as something as bad because we didn't get what we thought was good, I mean, that's just a plethora of a mess.
Right.
Just in that alone. So I think we have to embrace and realize and recognize that in our humanity, we don't know what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad. We know what we think. So my first thought when I saw the question was, Paul in 2 Corinthians 12, his thorn in the flesh.
Right.
He prayed 3 times, God remove it. That's a good prayer, right? This is a guy who wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, planted a lot of churches, was a discipler and a mentor to a lot of people, and it would probably be a good thing for him to have a healthy body and not have. But God's answer was not what we wanted it to be. If we wrote that the way we wanted it to be, Paul would pray, Lord, remove this. And God said, yes, there it is, it's gone, But he didn't. He said, my grace is sufficient.
Right. Ryan talked about that yesterday.
I mean, if we can trust and believe in him to answer it, but yet the answer is not what we wanted it to be, then we have to trust that too.
Yeah.
We can't play both sides. And so that that was my first thought. And again, Isaiah 55, 8 and 9, my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, declares the Lord. And in the end of all of that, when God says no to a prayer that we think is a good prayer, or praying for something good, whether it's healing or ministry opportunity, whatever, in the end, it goes back to Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Don't lean into your own understanding. Don't try. Sometimes it's okay not to try to make sense of it. Again, that's part of this human reasoning that we have, that everything has to make sense. Says who?
Yeah.
Everything has to have a logical conclusion. Everything has to have a chronological order. No. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, lean not on your own understanding, but all of your ways acknowledge him, and then he directs your path. He makes your path straight. So I think that way, we have to handle that when we get a no from God, especially when it's something that we're praying for that's good, is that if we're going to trust him for what we think is a good answer, we also have to trust him for what we think is maybe not a good answer,
Yeah.
or a no in this case. What do you think about that, Holly?
I think no is not evidence that he doesn't love us. Sometimes
yeah.
no is evidence that he does love us.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of things, and I don't want to jump ahead of myself. I think Christians have gotten into this place where we think, and I've heard preachers say it, it's not God's will for you to be sick. Or it's not God's will for you to be poor, or it's not this and it's not that. And or it's not God's will for you to be in a dead-end job or whatever, or drive a paid-off car, all the things. And that puts us in a place where we think as Christians that there's this picture of what our life should look like, and it shouldn't involve suffering,
Right.
and it shouldn't
Right.
involve pain, and it shouldn't involve difficult times, and it shouldn't involve trials. And so when we face those things, we automatically think we've done something wrong, or we don't have enough faith, or we're not doing good enough. And sometimes those trials are there because God is saying no, but he's preparing us for something better. He's preparing us for the yes, but we've got to go through the no to develop our character, to develop more patience, to maybe have a testimony to share with somebody that will be in that yes era with us. But I think that we just have this thing in our mind that says, when we hear that we're supposed to have life and have it more abundantly, that we think that means without difficulty, and that's not what it means.
I mean, how do you ever know healing without being sick?
Right.
How do you ever know joy without being sad? I mean, I think you need to have those comparisons and contrasts. And I wished I would have brought in the John Piper quote, because it so fits right here. And now I'll kick myself for not doing it. And I won't get it right, but I'll get the general essence of it. He said, what was it about the Macedonian Christians that made them Christians even in their suffering?
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to say, if you can't find joy unless your cancer is healed, you're not a Christian.
Yeah.
Now, that's not me. It's John Piper.
He said, don't yell at me.
Okay. If you can't find joy, if you're suffering, then you're not a Christian. If you can't find joy, even though you're living in poverty, you're not a Christian.
Yeah.
And the reason he says is because you're an idolater.
Yeah.
You are putting those things before your relationship with God.
Yeah.
And again, he says it so much more eloquently than I could. You should go look it up. It's John Piper, Macedonian Christians Suffering, and I'm sure it'll come up. But that's the thing is if I can't find my joy in the Lord unless he
Yeah. Yeah.
then there's something that the problem's not God.
Yeah. It's that I feel like that's a scary place to be in as a Christian, as a church, anybody who their relationship with God, their trust in God, their faith in God is dependent upon
Yeah.
XYZ.
Oh my goodness.
That's a slippery slope,
Even
and the slope slipped.
that's one of those tongue twister things.
It is now.
I slipped a slope. I better leave it just so I can leave
Yes.
it there. But it's the same principle as unconditional love.
Right.
Right? His love for us is not dependent on our performance, but nor should our joy in him be dependent on whether he does everything we want the way we want it done.
Right.
That's not Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Christianity is me trying to become more Christ-like in everything. And I don't know, I seem to remember something about even Jesus, the Son of God, going through some suffering.
Yeah. And rejection.
And rejection
Yeah.
and some prayer time that he asked for the Lord to take certain things away.
Right.
So everything all right over there, Magic Man?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Run. Number 2. How can
The
we
Canadian smoke's coming.
How can we tell the difference between God saying no, him saying wait, or simply just not hearing his answer yet?
How can we know? Well, I think, again, the number one thing is a word, again, that just really grates some believers for some reason, and that is this word patience. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just got to wait. The delay is not always no. The delay is, okay, just be patient.
Yeah.
We can't do that. We just don't know how to be patient. The second part of my answer would be, you got to know his voice.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, I better not say it.
No, go ahead.
Were you going to quote John 10:27?
No, go ahead.
Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. I think sometimes we're not hearing it because we don't recognize the voice in the midst of all the other noise that's going on in our world.
Where is my hanky?
Where is your Oh, here it is.
Give me that hanky.
Let me get you the hanky.
Thank you.
So how do you get to know someone's voice?
You spend time with them.
Hello.
Proximity.
Come on.
You're my father.
I am.
Surprise.
What?
Spoiler.
You're my
Okay.
father. Because we have relationship, I know what you like. I know what you don't like. I know your tone of voice when you're disappointed in me, when you're happy with me, when you're this morning when we hadn't seen each other for 10 days and I popped in before work and he goes, oh, hey, and we gave each other a hug. I feel like that proximity with the Lord, and a lot of people are like, I just don't hear from him. And my first question is where's your heart? Like, where are you in proximity to him? Are you spending time with him? Are you reading his word? I know when no is no. Like, I feel it in my, I can just say personally, like, I feel it in my gut. Like, I will have, like, I'll just know, almost like a quickening in my spirit when it's a no, when it's a yes. And then sometimes I know when I just don't hear anything and I just have to wait. But the problem is I feel like, they're going to get mad at this one. I feel like the problem is the only time we're listening for his voice is when we're asking him questions.
Yeah, when we get what we want. Yeah.
I'm going to waive that for myself.
Well, and in a season where Vicki and I didn't know for sure what was next, we drove to Iowa and interviewed at a church there. And as soon as we pulled up on the parking lot, it was an immediate. I mean, we looked at each other immediately. This is not it, right? Now, some people's first thought might have been, well, God could have told me 3 days ago, and it would have saved me a lot of miles on my vehicle and traveling, and because it seemed like it took forever to get to Iowa. But in that, it was just another opportunity for us to learn the voice even more.
Right.
I honestly sit here and say, as soon as we put on that parking lot, after doing all the driving we did, and we looked at each other and we said, this is not it, I didn't immediately follow that up with, and now I'm mad. It was like, okay, we're going to stay, we're going to preach, we'll go through the process, we'll let them ask us questions, but in the end, this is not it. It was a great church that had all their bills paid, had a great package, but they were just looking for somebody to, preach a couple sermons on Sunday and drink coffee with them throughout the week. And I wanted something more than that. And so I just knew as soon as we pulled up, that wasn't it. But I wasn't upset about it. But I could hear, and like I said, you kind of hear it in your spirit, this is not it. But I think not only do we not have patience, and not only do we not know his voice, I think we have preconceived ideas of what the answer is going to be, right? We predetermine, we assume what the answer is going to be. And when we don't hear that answer, we don't hear nothing.
Right.
And I think there's times when waiting is difficult. Waiting is difficult, but waiting also develops in us this thing called discernment, where we know and we can hear the voice of God, and we spend time with him. And, sometimes we think God is just waiting to give us what we want. But that's not how this works. It's a growing and a learning process for all of us, whether it has to do with healing in your body. I visit people in the hospital frequently. Larry Metcalf was a fellow that has passed away and gone on to the Lord. He's in the hospital several times, towards the end of his life, and I wished could say I was smart enough to come up with it on my own. I know it was the Spirit of God. I just walked in one day and we're just chatting back and forth, and I just asked him. I said, "Larry, you think that you had to come to the hospital to get healed, or you think God could have healed you at home?" I believe God could have healed me at home. And I said, "Well, then, why are you here?" See, why do we look at it? Well, okay, I got to go to the hospital so that I can get healed, which maybe will be the case. Maybe God will use modern medicine, which all good things come from above, and if He uses modern medicine, that's okay. I know a lot of people might struggle with that, but whether it's miracle or medicine, it's a good thing, and thank you, Lord. But I could be healed at home, so I'm here at the hospital on an assignment for something. We don't ever want to look at it that way, right? We're here because we're sick and because the doctor needs to do this. And no, maybe the Lord just got you there because someone's going to come across your path that you can witness to. And of course, Larry Metcalf, that was his response. And he was right. And I remember him witnessing to so many people because he was there a lot.
Yeah.
But I just think that we don't hear because we're not patient. We don't hear sometimes because I don't think we've become attuned to His voice. And then I think there's other times where we just assume or pre-decide what we think the answer is going to be.
Yeah.
And when we don't hear that, then He's not answering.
Yeah, I agree on all fronts.
Well, you should.
I think sometimes when He makes us wait, He is not ready to trust us with the answer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That sometimes we're just not at a place where we need to be. I mean, you can just look at so many examples in the Bible where people knew beforehand, like Joseph and David and, people who, even with Noah, I mean, it took him, I don't remember how many years.
100 years.
100 years.
120.
Before what God spoke to him came to pass.
Yeah.
We can't even wait.
That's a long time.
Yeah. That's
You think?
Well, and I know that's not what we're talking about, but there was someone preaching on this the other day. He worked, it might have been Loran Livingston, Central Church of God in Charlotte. He worked 100 and some years and put up with everything and preaching, the Lord is going to send judgment, and 7 people. 7 people were saved in 100 years.
Yeah.
And it was his family. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I do think sometimes the Lord, there's a delay there, but it's a delay for us.
Yeah.
So that we can, learn something, be strengthened, get closer, let the proximity, go away.
I see it a lot in young people.
Them youngsters.
Especially ones
Whippersnappers.
who, like, God's,
Youths.
called into the ministry, or they feel like they're called into the ministry, and it's like they want it now.
Man, do not get me started.
And I'm like, dudes and dudettes,
my dudeses.
like you have no idea. Like, first of all, like, people don't really just hire you like straight out of the.
Right.
You're gonna have to put in some work. You're gonna have to serve. You're gonna have to learn.
Oh no! You don't know who I am.
Yeah. And it's a lot, and it's difficult, and it's a long road. I am old, very old.
I once was young.
I once was young, but now I'm old. I'll be 44 in August, and I was working on something about my ministry history, and I have been doing ministry for almost 25 years. It's a long time. And I have always felt that at some point in time, I will be in full-time ministry. I'm 44. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm not sitting here going, oh my God? Why not me? Why not now? Why not this? No, I'm going to continue to serve. I'm going to continue to be a nurse by day and a youth pastor and whatever else I'm needed to be by night. And that's okay. And all because it doesn't happen in my timing or what I think. It doesn't negate his answer, right? And for whatever reason, and I'll probably never find out, and I'll probably never ask. I'm not going to get up there and be like, "Hey,
14 years for me.
yeah." I mean,
14 years.
you just got to serve.
And people go take their test and say,
Yeah.
I should be plugged in somewhere full
Yes.
time right now.
Yeah, and Holly, be nice. Those are the ones that end up moving around, never planting their feet anywhere.
Right.
Just looking for the next best thing. All right, moving on.
It's funny you
Holly.
would mention that because on my vacation, I encountered a fellow, great guy. I mean, just one of those guys that never meets a stranger. You could just tell.
I say that about you.
Well, I meet a few strangers. Hello. And it just conversation, he discovers I'm a pastor and so forth and so on. And all of a sudden, the next 2 or 3 times I saw him, he was a walker and he would walk through the neighborhood where we were staying. And in the conversation, for some reason, he would say, hey, such and such church has an interim pastor and they're looking for somebody. And the way you said that, it reminds me that some people are not looking to plant roots; they're just looking for the next place where that's at, and to the point where that's this guy's view of some pastors. Well, there's and then today I actually messaged him. We've become Facebook friends, and I messaged him and said, "Hey, sorry
Vacation friends.
sorry I didn't get to say goodbye before we left. Blah blah blah." And his response, "Hey, such church."
Good grief.
And I said, well, we planted the church that we're at 23 years ago, and my prayer is that the Lord let me finish the race there, and not really looking. And his response was, well, you might want to just pass the information along to some of your buddies that might be looking. I'm like, I don't have any buddies that are looking. I don't have any buddies, but I don't have any buddies that are looking,
You're my only friend.
But that's the reason I friended you on Facebook.
I didn't have any friends before.
Yeah, just look at my profile. One friend. But it is, people don't have the patience to wait. I'll say this real quick. We'll move on. Go back to the Iowa story. And I think I shared this maybe even a couple of weeks ago. Those people wanted me and Vicky only because we've been long-term people.
Yeah.
They'd gone through 5 pastors in 7 years. And they just wanted somebody that was going to hang around a while. But most people don't have the patience, or, they think, well, I'm all that. The Lord ought to be like making me the Pope tomorrow.
Yeah. Just, that's a whole nother podcast.
Okay.
I have a lot to say.
Sorry.
But I won't.
All right.
I mean, number 3.
Trace.
It's now number 3?
Yeah, and we have 14.
Yep. Can you share a biblical example of someone who prayed sincerely, but God's answer was not the way they wanted it, and what can we learn from that person?
Well, I think number 1 we already talked about, Paul.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it didn't turn out the way he wanted it, but the Bible says that he recognized, I have this thorn so that I won't become proud. Mm-hmm. Right? Then what about David? David, has his relationship with Bathsheba. There's a child, and he desperately fasted and prayed that the Lord would heal the infant son, and God's answer was no.
Yeah.
Right? And the ultimate would be Jesus. Jesus asked God in the Garden of Gethsemane, if it's your will, let this cup pass from me. I don't want this. Right? But he was submitted fully to the will of the Lord, and he went through it. And so there's probably a bunch more, but I think that's what we need to understand is that, is it Isaiah 43? When you go through the water, I'll be with you. When you go through the fire, you won't be burnt. Didn't say if. It's when you're going through those things, I'll be there. It's not going to overtake you, but it's probably not going to turn out the way that you had hoped or had planned. It's going to be different. And I think it was in the case of these particular ones. And what we learn from that, again, if we can trust him for the answer we want, then we have to trust him for the answer we didn't want.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways. You can't go back to Piper. If you're only going to trust him when he answers the way you want him to answer, that's not Christianity.
Right.
That's idolatry.
Yeah. I was talking yesterday as we were here working on the VBS.
That we had
Yes, last week.
That we will have had.
Yes.
by the time this hit.
That. I was talking to some people who are recently started coming to our church in the past year or so, and they had not known a lot about my testimony after my hysterectomy and what I had went through. Then really had a struggle, mentally, and it was a long road. And that was one of the years we didn't have VBS, if you remember, because I wasn't coming to church at that time.
I try not to remember.
It wasn't because I was backslidden. It was because I was struggling. But anyways, we were talking about that last night. And as we were going home, I was just thinking about that whole season of my life that literally led to us adopting Isaiah. And, I had wanted kids. Ryan and I were trying for kids, never could get pregnant. I had a lot of physical issues, end up having a full hysterectomy, end up having pretty much a nervous breakdown. And that next year is when we started the process of adopting Isaiah. That's not how I intended to have kids. I'll never have that birthing experience. I'll never have, all of those things. It doesn't look like what normal parenthood would look like. But the answer was exactly what we needed and what Isaiah needed.
Yeah.
And preparing for today, that's one of the things that I was thinking of. I mean, his answer to me being pregnant was no, right?
Right.
But it wasn't a no to me having children.
Right.
It was just a no to the way I wanted to have it done.
There's a no to the way you thought it was going to be answered.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. All right. Let's see. Number 4.
Did she say 4?
4. Might be our last one. Let's see. Why would a loving God deny prayers that seem to honor him and help others?
It's that splinter in my brain. Again, I mean, who's saying that God is denying prayers at all? A no is an answer to prayer.
It is an answer, yeah.
Right? I think there are 3 answers to prayer. One is yes. We really like that because that's the predisposition that we all have, is I'm going to ask God and he's going to give it to me and everything's going to be great. Yes. No, which we don't like that answer. We don't like, again, go back to my first, we don't like that, hear that from anybody about anything. Don't tell me no, period. But at least it's an answer. It's finality. Okay, at least I have an answer. Now I'll move on to whatever's next. The one that we really don't like is wait.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how to do that. We don't know how to wait. Yes, we like. No, we don't like, but at least it's an answer. But wait, no. We're going to, unfortunately, too often we just take matters into our own hands at that point.
Yeah.
And do it the way we want. So my problem with the question is the premise, which is who's saying that God's denying prayers? Who's saying that? Who decides that? The same person that's wanting the answer the way they want it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm praying for this. God, please do this. And God doesn't do that. So we determine that he's denying our prayer. No, he's not denying it's an answer to prayer. Sometimes it's, you're not going to be pregnant, but you're going to be a mom.
Yeah.
And you're going to be a mom to someone who really needs a mom.
Yeah.
And it's
and he plays the air triangle.
And he play. I mean, not many moms can claim that, right?
Yeah.
My son is a professional triangulist. Is that, I don't even know how you say
An
it.
air one. Sorry.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have to see that sometime. But then there's other times that God's not denying the prayers, but James tells us that we don't receive it because we ask amiss. Mm-hmm. We ask with the wrong motive.
Yeah.
We ask with the wrong intent. As a matter of fact, the verse actually says, you ask and you do not receive because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on your pleasures. Mm-hmm. So, again, it kind of goes to that picture of I'm praying to God for something that I feel like I need, or unfortunately, most of the time, it's what I want. It doesn't turn out the way I want, and so I get to determine God denied my prayer. God's not listening to me.
Right.
When the reality is, I'm not listening to Him.
Yeah.
It's not that he's denied you; it's that you've not denied yourself.
What? Come on.
Whoa! Wait, I might wave a hanky on that one. But that
That's
Ryan
good.
used that yesterday, and that's true. It's true. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not into Hindu or nothing. But I think this whole
Not a counselor, not a Buddhist.
You have teeth.
I think their I don't know what you call it, philosophy of emptying yourself of you. I think there's something that could be useful in that.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to learn to quit thinking about ourselves so much, because when we do that, it does make it so much harder to deny ourselves, and we can't pick up a cross and we can't follow Him unless we first deny ourselves. And I think He put it first because it's the hardest thing to do. Deny yourself. Okay, Lord, this is something I'm praying for, whether it's healing, whether it's a financial need, whether it's something in my relationships. Now I need to be patient, wait on the Lord, listen for the Lord, try to discern what His answer is. And if the answer is not what I thought it was going to be, I trust You. I trust You, Lord. And for it to be anything other than that, I think it's not trusting. I don't know if I can go all the way with Piper and say you're not a Christian, but there is some merit to what he's saying. If my relationship with the Lord is dependent on what His answers to me are, who's playing God in that situation?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so I think you have to be careful, but I do believe that it goes to that thing that who decides what's good and bad? Who decides what is God denying a prayer? Who thinks they have the mind of God?
Yeah.
And how ridiculous is it to think that, So that's kind of where I land on that.
Ridiculous.
It is, very much.
Last question.
No, you said that the last question.
I know, but this is really the last
Oh,
one. I
okay.
feel like this is the note we need to end on. How
Oh.
should we encourage someone whose prayer for healing, restoration, reconciliation, whatever it is, was not answered the way that they had hoped?
Well, if we believe that God can answer in the way that we want, if we believe that He can answer what we're praying the way we want it, then we have to believe that His answer, when it's not the way we wanted, is still His answer, and we have to place our trust and our hope and our faith in that. Do we only trust God when it works out in our favor?
Right.
Is that the only time we're going to trust God? Again, His ways and His thoughts are not our ways and not our thoughts. He is not just waiting to give us everything that we want. And there are times that we simply have to believe and know that He knows best. I can tell you of times that I've been self-imposed disappointed because it didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. But then I can also sit here and look back on it and say, wow, God was He was doing something there. And so I would say to that person who's praying for healing or praying for restoration, reconciliation, whatever the case might be, trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Don't lean into your own understanding, but in all of your ways acknowledge Him, and then He directs your path. I mean, I've been involved in healing that was divine, instantaneous, miraculous. One that comes to mind. I remember a lady coming after a service and saying that she was going the next day to have an MRI done on a knot on her head that they were concerned was a tumor. And I asked her, I said, well, can you just show me where it's at? And she takes my hand and puts it on the back of, it's about right. It was golf ball size. And I called for some folks that were around. I said, come, let's agree together right now. And I'm praying, and I put my hand on her head, and we're praying. And we get done, and the only way I can describe it to you is I was kind of surprised. That's crazy, isn't it? You're praying, Lord, heal her, and I'm like, I asked her, I was like, can you just tell me where that was at? Because it was gone. I mean, gone. And of course, she put her hand up there and became, very thankful and emotional to the Lord for that healing. Now, take the other side of that. My dad was hit by a train when I was 3. He was paralyzed on the left side of his body from the time I was 3 till he died. I can remember 2 specific times where I thought the Lord was even impressing me. Pray for your dad, complete healing. And I don't know how to describe it. I can't explain it other than to say I closed my eyes. I prayed for my dad knowing that when I opened my eyes, he was going to be healed. I knew that beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I opened my eyes and he wasn't. I remember that happening twice. But that didn't dilute or diminish my faith in God. That didn't knock me off my horse. That made me stop and reevaluate, okay, did you ask amiss? Were you praying with this preconceived notion of how God was going to answer it, and He didn't? And so, it wasn't what's wrong with God. It was what's wrong. What happened here?
Right.
And so I just encourage that person who may have been praying that way to find what Paul calls contentment in the Lord. That verse where he said, he ended with, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, but he started it with, not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned in whatever state that I am to be content. He said, I've learned it. He didn't say it was a spiritual gift. He didn't say it was a golden brick that fell out of heaven and hit him in the head. He said, no matter what state I'm in, whether I'm abased or abound, whether I have a lot or have a little, whether God answers the prayer the way I wanted it answered or He doesn't, I have learned to be content.
Yeah.
And my final thought on it was I looked up the definition of content. I thought I knew, and I pretty much did, but as an adjective, which is what is used here in Scripture, it means feeling satisfied, peaceful, or happy with what you currently have. Mm-hmm. It is synonymous with fulfilled or at ease. Paul said, no matter what, if He didn't remove the thorn in my flesh that I prayed that He would remove 3 times, I'm still going to be content.
Yeah.
I'm going to be content. I'm going to be satisfied, peaceful, and happy with my relationship with Him, knowing that He's got my best interest at heart. I don't understand it all.
Right.
I don't know what He's doing. There's times in ministry that I thought, I'll be here the rest of my life. This is great. This is awesome. And then He would change all that.
Yeah.
And there were times when I thought, okay, God, what's up? What are you doing? But in the end, He had the best in mind. He knew what needed to happen when I didn't. And if I decide that I'm not going to trust in the Lord with all of my heart, I'm going to trust in the Lord with some of my heart, and I am going to lean into my own understanding, that's leading down a road that is going to bring pain into your life. You're going to stumble, you're going to fall, you're going to bump into things in the dark. But no matter what happens, and I do mean no matter what happens, I'm going to trust in the Lord.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah. It's good. I think that's a good place to end.
Well, I don't want to say I bring things to an end, but I guess I brought that to an end.
You brought that to an end. Thank you so much for listening to us today. We are going to maybe have another, I know we're going to have another episode, but I don't know if it's going to be our lightning episode or if we're going to have another topic episode.
Does it concern you at all that the producer of our show doesn't know what we're doing next?
It's VBS
I'm
time,
not gonna lie,
and
a little
I don't know what I'm doing. But please please share, please do all the things.
Rate,
review, follow. I don't know.
Send money.
Yeah. All those things.
Sponsors.
And
merch.
we will,
If we've mentioned your product.
yes, we'll catch you on the flip side next week.
Yeah.
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 Bye.
Peace.